after he missed game one. If you just look at the box score, 24 points, 12 assists, 9 rebounds, 3 steals, 1 block, 40 minutes. They say he's the calm. He's like the milk when things get spicy. What, from your angle, is the Marcus Smart effect on this team?
It's a security blanket. Normally, obviously, he's the defensive player of the year, and you look at the defensive end first, and obviously you're not going to shut down a great player like Jimmy Butler, but Marcus Smart did a great job of just making things tough, not giving him anything easy. And then the numbers you mentioned, 1 rebound away from a triple-double. He came out on the offensive end and attacked this team, and it was much needed. You remember in game one, Miami singled out Pritchard and put him in a lot of pick and rolls and isolated him a lot and scored on him at will down the stretch. With Marcus Smart out there, they weren't able to do that tonight.
The Celtics shot 63% from 3 in the first half, and we're all sitting around going, oh, they can't keep that up. That's not sustainable. They only shot 50% for the game. So we were kind of right, but let's be honest, that percentage went down by some of the shots there late in the game.
Right.
When the Celtics can be that consistent from 3, how does it change what they can do offensively?
Well, it's huge because I feel like the 3 ball is a gift and a curse for this team. Sometimes they get caught in settling too much and they'll shoot 50-plus threes. But I think that sweet spot is right around 39 or 40 shots. And I think they were, 20 for 40 tonight for 50% from the three-point line. So right around that, high 30, low 40s is the target for them. And they were getting it in all sorts of ways, obviously shooting the ball very well. But when you shoot the ball well, that gives you the ability to get to the basket and make plays for your teammates. But all their great offense starts on defense. These guys were flying around from the tip, knew that they laid an egg in the first game. They possibly could have won the first game, had a nice lead in the first half. In the second half, Miami came down and took that lead, but knew that with their 2 starters back, it allowed everyone to ease back into their natural positions and ease back to their normal roles, so there wasn't as much pressure on everyone. Tatum can get back to scoring and not having to be the primary playmaker. He can make plays, but also be the leading scorer. So with this team healthy, I just feel like the Celtics are a better team than Miami when everyone's at full strength.
Jimmy Butler has not been bad at all. He's been fantastic for the first two games. And like Stephen A. said, this was the game that basically exposed the fact that he has no help offensively. Then there's Bam, who continues to struggle. So what does Bam Adebayo need to do to get it going in Game 3?
He just needs to shoot more. The fact that he only took 6 shots, he was 3 for 6, he just has to shoot. He has to put that kind of pressure on the defense, because if you look at it, who else in the first unit are you really expecting scoring from? They got 2 young guards playing because of injury. Bam has to be that guy that's a 20 and 10 guy in the playoffs for this team to really move further forward. But the fact that he only took 6 shots is kind of perplexes me, because he knows that he needs to be a big scorer for this team to be effective. Also, Tyler Hero, he struggled coming out the gates again, obviously coming off the 6th Man of the Year award. Hasn't played necessarily well of late, and they definitely need him. Victor Oladipo had 14 points, but got most of those in garbage time. So outside of Jimmy Butler, who's had a tremendous playoff run, as Stephen A. said, there was no one else to help tonight.
Butler did have 29. Game 3, by the way, they have a few days to figure it out. It is Saturday. You can see it 8:30 Eastern on ABC. Thanks, man.
Meantime, Nicole, on tonight, the Heat by the series.
Ooh, it was a good old-fashioned blitz by the Celtics, and it all started with, 7.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Boston went on a 62-30 run where they made 10 threes. In that same time frame, Miami was able to make just 3. The Celtics then had their largest road halftime lead in a playoff game in their franchise history, and I think we can all agree that history is a little bit long. One big reason for their return to this series in their dominant fashion was Marcus Smart. He missed Game 1, his return from the foot sprain. He made his presence known. Third quarter, 20 points, 11 assists. It's the 3rd time he's done that in his career. Sorry, it was the 3rd career postseason game where he's had those numbers. Defense, he hustled. The Heat fell flat. Miami suffered their first home loss in the postseason, and it wasn't even close. Prior to this one, they were 7-0 at home. That was obviously not the case in this one. Jimmy Butler did have 29, but the rest of the Heat starters combined for just 31.
Stephen A. Smith joins us now from Miami. Stephen A., Jason Tatum had 27 in this game, but this may well be known as the Marcus Smart game moving forward. He was spectacular, talked about his poise when things got spicy. What impact do you think Marcus Smart had on the game?
Well, I think he had a profound impact because everybody's looking at his offense. What I'm looking at is his defense and the level of toughness he reinstilled in the Boston Celtics following their Game 1 debacle. Remember, they had a halftime lead. What happens in the third quarter? Miami comes out with a 22-2 run, outscores them 39-14 in the third quarter, completely punked the Boston Celtics in the third quarter of that game. Well, Marcus Smart is saying that ain't going to happen on my watch. So he comes in Game 2 and he makes sure to reinstill a toughness, their defensive identity, the things that got them here to begin with. It was nice to see his offense, make no mistake about it. But the way the Boston Celtics were rolling, even before halftime, showed you what they're capable of offensively. Defensively is what you were looking for from Marcus Smart. And he showed up from opening tap and made sure everybody else did as well. And from that standpoint, the Boston Celtics definitely ran away with it.
Stephen A., we want to resist the urge to be a prisoner of the moment, but Miami looked pedestrian, Jimmy Butler notwithstanding. What was exposed in Miami tonight?
That Jimmy Butler has no help offensively. That's what this really comes down to. Tyler Hero is the reigning sixth man of the year, but Boston is the top defense. Bottom line, Miami's a top 5 defense as well, but Boston's defense is elite. Make no mistake about it. When they get rolling, they're like a bunch of piranhas. They come at you, and there's very little that you can do about it unless you are a star. Jimmy Butler's that guy. So he follows up his 41-point performance in Game 1 with 29. But Tyler Hero wasn't there. Gabe Vincent wasn't there. Bam Adebayo, don't know what the hell is wrong with him. He can definitely play the game of basketball. An elite defender, I might add. But offensively, pedestrian doesn't begin to describe him. He's not attempting enough shots. Some of that are them not getting him the ball enough. Other times, he's not taking advantage of the opportunities that are available to him. So Jimmy Butler is a lone ranger. He's all by himself, getting minimal help, if that, at all. And if that continues, this series is going to be over in 5. They better help Jimmy Butler. Otherwise, the next time I'm back here, the Boston Celtics are going to close them out.
It certainly seemed like that here after Game 2. Stephen A., how about the resiliency of the Celtics? They lose Game 1 in this series. They lost Game 1 to Milwaukee. They won Games 5 and 6 in that series as well. Where does that resiliency come from?
From their defense. They know when all else fails, they can stop anybody. That's the thing that has made the Boston Celtics force us all to give them the recognition they so richly deserve. Udoka is doing a sensational job as a first-year coach. We understand his pedigree is that of a championship one, coaching under Greg Popovich all of those years. He understands what it takes. He's been in these moments before, albeit as an assistant, and he's really instilled that culture in the Boston Celtics. Remember, they had an opportunity to avoid the Brooklyn Nets the last week of the season. They did not do that. They wanted Kyrie and KD. They said, who the hell are they? We will handle them. And that's exactly what they did. They swept them. They go up against Giannis Antetokounmpo, the reigning defending NBA champion. They said, we'll bounce them out too, albeit helped by the absence of Chris Middleton. And now they're going against the Miami Heat. And no matter how elite Miami's defense is, the Celtics are saying, our defense is the defense that everybody should be worried about. And they're showing it throughout this series as far as I'm concerned, and they certainly showed it in Game 2.
Defense was great. The offense was great. 6 players in double figures, 24 for Smart and Brown, 27 for Jason Tatum. Stephen A. Smith from Miami here tonight on SportsCenter.
Stephen A. said their coach has the pedigree of a champion. Well, he's at the mic right now after the win.
Yeah, we knew they're a team that runs quite a bit.